Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortenta Carty, and it is indeed another thankful Thursday. What are you thankful for?
Life, Cortenta.
Jamie's one thing he ensures that he's thankful for life, myself as well. We will now begin with the latest in local news. This from Wind Media, SKN. The investiture ceremony for the new Governor General of St. Kitts and Nevis, Her Excellency Miss Marcella Liburd, was held on Wednesday morning, February 1st, 2023. Resident High Court Judge, Her Ladyship Tamara Gill, administered the oath of allegiance and the oath of office. Her Excellency Miss Marcella Liburd is the 5th Governor General of the independent state of St. Kitts and Nevis and the first female to hold that post in the country. She succeeds Sir Samuel Waymond Tapley Seaton, who served as Governor General from 2015 to 2023. The former Governor General, whose reign ended at 11:59 on Tuesday, January 31st, was not present at the ceremony, but sent regards and best wishes to Her Excellency, the Governor General.
Right, and in other news, this from SKNIS, the Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs wishes to provide to the general public an update on the application process for the Poverty Alleviation Program. At the close of the application process, 9,094 applications were fully completed and accepted for further review, verification, and processing. The Federal Cabinet has approved the following priority households to receive payment of the Poverty Alleviation Program. They are as follows. Households headed by seniors, that is, persons 62 years and older who identify themselves as the main applicant for the benefit. Households headed by persons with disabilities, that is, persons who identify themselves as the main applicant for the benefit and indicated that they have a disability. Households with minor children, that is, unemployed and employed persons who identify themselves as the main applicant and whose households contain children under the age of 18. Unemployed heads of households with minor children will be prioritized within this category. The first payment cycle of the Poverty Alleviation Program will be made to households headed by seniors and persons with disabilities only by Monday, February 6, 2023. All future payments to additional categories of beneficiaries will be made by the last working day of each month inclusive of February 2023.
We continue now. This from SKNIS. The work of the rehabilitation program at His Majesty's Prison will be enhanced following the donation of a laptop and a commitment for future support from MoneyGram. The company's managing director, Damian Hobson, recently presented the donation to His Majesty's Prison Rehabilitation Officer, Virgil Hodge, noting that he was moved to act after hearing several inmates share stories of reform while attending the International Men's Day service last November. Mr. Hobson stated in court, "At the end of the service, I spoke to Commissioner of Prisons, Terrence James, and told him that my company would be interested in partnering with the department to see how we can help to foster better relationships and to grow the program that they have." End quote. Officer Hodge said that the laptop will be used to assist with prisoner assessment, course design, and a tutorial lesson. Mr. Hobson said that he will make additional contributions moving forward and encourage like-minded persons to lend a helping hand.
Moving on to a check of our local weather. At this time, it's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 79 degrees and a low of 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Take a look at the weekly forecast as we head to a break. More GMSKN on the other side.
yet.
An exotic experience.
Oh, come here!
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Good morning, SKN. This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Time now for latest in regional news. This from Loop Caribbean. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, has announced the winners of its stamp competition, which was held as part of the activities to mark the bank's 40th anniversary. Vedant Shetty of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the winner in the 5 to 11 category. Mia Emanuel of St. Lucia is the winner in the 12 to 17 category. And Max and Rock of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the winner in the 18 and over category. The winners were recognized and awarded during the official launch of the bank's 40th anniversary celebrations held at the Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium in St. Kitts and Nevis and transmitted virtually across the ECCB member countries on January 19th. The bank also recognized Adia Inanga of St. Kitts and Nevis, David Blackett of Grenada, and Melvin Hughes of Anguilla for taking second place in the 3 respective categories. The winning stamps are expected to be released in September.
Congratulations to Adia and all others that participated. We continue now on this on the international scene. That's from BBC News. Beyoncé has announced a 43-day world tour in support of her critically acclaimed Renaissance album, including 5 nights in the UK. The show will kick off in Sweden on the 10th of May before landing at Cardiff's Principality Stadium a week later. Further UK dates will take place in Edinburgh on 20th May, Sutherland on 23rd May, and London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the 29th and 30th May. Ticket demand is expected to be huge for her first solo tour since 2016. A series of pre-sales for the star's UK show will begin at 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on Thursday, then go on general sale on Tuesday. Usually, Beyoncé has avoided making music videos for the album, meaning the Renaissance tour will be fans' first chance to see her visual interpretation of tracks like Break My Soul, Alien Superstar, and Cuff It.
Way to go, Beyoncé. All right, so we'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
朋友大家好 Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
Good morning, SKN. Wagwan. Yo, it's Bensley Lad coming to you live from Jamaica. You see it, go already. See me. I say Caribbean people stand up and I love this. This show is very important. You understand me? Yeah, man. Studio 327. Bensley Lad. It's a big up. See me, I say. I'm the whole innocent crew. Yeah, man. More love.
Yo, this is your boy Smiley of the Grandmasters Band and you're watching GMSKN. Hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're watching GMSKN. What up?
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
No cash, no card, no problem. Jad, embrace the freedom.
experience.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Did you know that our Federation recently participated in a crop protection symposium? To enlighten us on the intention of the symposium and so much more, we are proud to welcome Mr. Ian Chapman, representing the St. Kitts Department of Agriculture, and Kennedy Paul, who is joining us from Trinidad and Tobago. He is the Technical Sales Agronomist of Caribbean Chemicals and Agencies Limited. Welcome to you both.
Welcome, gentlemen.
All right, so to begin...
Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. To begin this conversation, Mr. Paul, we're going to direct this first question to you. Tell us about what sparked the launch of the Crop Protection Symposium.
Well, first of all, let me thank the Department of Agriculture for allowing and facilitating this particular symposium. But the need for a crop protection symposium is very important, especially in the islands of St. Kitts and Nevis by extension, okay? Because what tends to happen over time, if farmers are not using the proper cultural practices, the proper pesticides, whether it be insecticides, fungicides, or herbicides, etc., if they're not using it for the correct purpose, what we tend to recognize that as is indiscriminate use. And indiscriminate use of pesticides could lead to problems in the long run, like pesticide resistance buildup, etc. And when you have such phenomena happening, what you have is a drop in production by the farmers, whatever crop they grow in, etc. Because pest in agriculture is one of the major what we like to call sinks or losses, right? It gives a lot of economic losses. So that the symposium that we had last week was really geared towards assisting the farmers with identifying and basically suggesting the best practices suited to managing certain insect pests in St. Kitts and Nevis.
So, Mr. Kennedy, has a symposium of this nature been held in St. Kitts before?
Not to that extent. Okay. Not to that extent. We've had trainings throughout the years. But in this particular instance, I want to say I was impressed with the turnout. I was impressed with the organization from the Department of Agriculture, both in St. Kitts and Nevis. Right? Well, basically we brought it a step further because the information was a lot more technical. We didn't just recommend. Basically, we didn't just recommend. Or we didn't just suggest ways to control the pests. We went in depth in terms of their cycle and what we like to call biology of the insect, where we learn the places where they tend to rest. We call it the resting stages. And if you know the resting stages in insect life cycle, it becomes a lot easier to control. And in the long run, you use less pesticide, which equate for safer consumption to you, the consumers who basically benefit from the fresh produce in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Great stuff.
All right, so Mr. Chapman, turning now to you, we want to know what some of the takeaways were for the Federation having participated in this symposium.
Well, as Mr. Paul indicated, this was timely for us because, as you can see, we just finished the first month of the year, and so in order for we allow our farmers and our crop extension officers to have that knowledge, so that in order for them for the extension officers, for them to educate the farmers accordingly, so that they can better be able to feed the country. And as Mr. Paul rightfully indicated, when they have this knowledge, both extension and farmers, they can better able to produce greater yields, so that ultimately now we are trying to meet our mandates and targets to help to reduce that food importation bill. So this symposium was in crop protection was timely As you know, crop protection deals with all aspects of various aspects of disease management, pest management, weed management. So not just about pesticides, they even learn some cultural practices and integrated pest management that was best geared, but sometimes because it's not all about using chemicals. And that was one of the things that I was happy that Mr. Paul was able to educate both the farmers and the officers the best cultural practices to use first before using any form of chemicals.
All right, so when you mentioned that, and same to you, Mr. Paul, you did mention cultural practices, and I was a little, curious to say, to find out more about what some of those practices are. So very quickly, could you enlighten us as to what you said to the participants?
Okay. Well,
some of the cultural practices are more like, okay.
Yeah, he's actually here. He's answering.
Yeah. Okay. So when we mention cultural practices refer to basically when you use methods besides the application of pesticides, whether it be biological or otherwise, right? Biological or synthetic. So with cultural practices, what we generally refer to is basically field sanitation, right? We refer to basic practices that farmers should use to reduce pesticide usage, like ground cover. We make a reference to the type of variety which the farmers chooses to plant, because a lot of times our farmers are poorly informed in terms of their variety. And one of the things I constantly keep reminding them, and I constantly keep reinforcing in their mind, is no amount of pesticide usage could substitute for poor cultural practices. And I make reference to the human anatomy, and I make reference to the fact that no matter how much medication you take, if you eat poorly, you will get sick. You understand? And the same thing relates to the plant and the way you do agriculture, the way you manage your crops. It doesn't matter how much pesticide you might use, how much insecticides you spray on the leaves, etc. If you don't control the weeds, the process is going to continue getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So basically what we do, we focus on an integrated approach to managing this insect pest, where we incorporate the cultural practices which we refer to as certain management practices, your weed control, the type of varieties you decide to plant, the way you decide to irrigate depending on the type of insect you might have, and basically the type of the season. We have a wet and dry in the Caribbean. The type of season we're in has implications to the way you control your pests. So we just basically try to encompass all of the facets of crop management into one seminar. And it was good.
Mr. Paul, I once had a lime tree when I lived in Antigua, and it was full of pests. And I don't know if this could be incorporated as a cultural practice. I would mix a big bucket of soap powder and water and throw it on the trees, and my tree had no problem. The pests washed off and my limes just grew like crazy. Would you recommend something like that?
No. All right.
Just
no. That is a practice we constantly do in terms of mixing soap water and spraying on the plant leaf to control the insect pests. Though that might be effective in controlling the insect pests, right? What that does essentially, it washes off the waxy cuticle, right? Which is above the epidermal layer of the leaf. Long and short, you see the nice gloss on the leaf, on the lime tree? You wash that out over time. And what you leave your plants exposed to is microbial diseases, right? So you might see little spots appearing. Long and short, you take off the leaves first line of defense. So if the sun is too hot, the leaves, you will begin to see the leaves scorching, etc. So though I'm not opposed to using these home remedies, it's better if you grate some garlic and you grate some garlic and you squeeze out the water, etc. Or you blend some garlic in a little bit of water and you further dilute it before you spray it on. Or even the natural oils like neem oils, etc. I prefer you do that instead of using a detergent.
Okay.
But I've heard about that method already. Yeah.
Okay.
So following up on what Hortensia just asked both of you, this question concerns misconceptions that might have manifested in your interactions during the symposium. Were there some common misconceptions that you found coming to the floor that you had to address?
Yes, I definitely had to address it. And I wouldn't say it's basically misconceptions, it's just persons being poorly informed, and it just leading to long and short, what was happening is that the farmers were under the perception that the pesticides are getting weaker, and they are 100% correct, okay? But the misconception they were having is that the manufacturers and the suppliers, which would include my company as well as others, are watering down the pesticides, which I found very funny. What is happening? I've been in this job for approximately, I want to say 8 years. And since I've been in this job, the pesticide groups, etc., that are being utilized in St. Kitts and Nevis hasn't changed. And I always make reference to the human anatomy. Like, for us humans, if we're using antibiotics, the same type of antibiotics over time, what you find, it becomes less and less effective.
Yep.
So the same thing relates to the insect pests. When you're using the same insecticide, the same fungicide, the same herbicides, and you don't introduce any new chemistry, what you have is pesticide resistance buildup. And what that leads to is the ineffectivity of the pesticides which you spray onto the plants. And basically, it has long-term effects not only on us, the consumers, but the farmers' economics, the farmers' ability to basically break even from his heels, because he has to use so much more insecticide or so much more pesticide. It is cutting into his bottom line, which is the profit. And that is what a lot of the farmers or commercial farmers are into agriculture for. It has to be profitable. But if you're using too much insecticides, because the insecticides that are available or the chemistry on the market that is available, well, long and short, it isn't changing much. Over time, the insects will get accustomed to the insecticides you spray. So Mr. Chapman, as well as the permanent secretary and the Department of Agriculture, the members of the Department of Agriculture, has identified that has been one of the problems, and we are working on getting some new chemistries where pesticides are concerned. And not only newer chemistries, organic chemistries where pesticides are concerned in St. Kitts and Nevis. So we have a few organic lines we are preparing to test, etc. And hopefully the Department of Agriculture could approve the registrations of those organic pesticides.
So, turning to you, Mr. Chapman, in terms of that process of approval, what can you tell us, if anything at all?
Well, it's a process that goes to the Pesticide and Toxic Board, which is housed within the Department of Agriculture. It's a board consists of different members from across different fields of chemistry in the federation, and of course, so it's a diligent process. They would have to review the toxicity of the chemical, the environmental impacts that each of these products would make before any product can be registered or enter into the country for use. So it's basically, they're kind of what you would say almost like the shield and protectors of our humans, but not humans, but our citizens, so that make sure that the products that anybody, even across the board, not just, they don't even just, even some of them other insecticides such as BOP and those roach killers and rodent killers, things that make sure that it's, when they come into contact with human, they are not that deadly and harmful for us to, so they try really as much as possible to protect the citizens of the Federation from toxic and harmful chemicals.
So in that way, we can be sure that once there's approval, then not only will we see a higher yield, but there won't be any detrimental side effects.
Right. And so all in all, and not just side effects on humans, also any effects on the environment, other organisms such as birds and different things, because sometimes, hey, if these stuff gets into the ground, the water table, that could have effects on animals, birds, and just messing with the whole biodiversity. Okay. So they really play a big role in this process.
So do we have a big bug problem here in St. Kitts?
No, we don't. Compared to most of the other countries in the region, we don't have a wide pest problem.
Okay.
Thank God that we do. We don't, sorry. But more in general, we do have some common pests that is spread throughout the region, but when compared to some of the sister islands in the region, we don't have such a wide thing there, because just drawing a reference, in Antigua they have the giant African snail, which that eats leaves, just wipe out a whole industry in Antigua and Barbados, and we thank God we are blessed within the Federation not to have such a disease. And it could go on and on, that different diseases up and pests that within the region that is not here in St. Kitts Nevis. So I must now put a plug in for my quarantine unit as they continue to ensure and to protect our borders. And this is when persons now are asked to, before they import anything, they come and visit our planned quarantine unit so that they could get the right guidance as to ensure that we continue to protect our biodiversity and our environment.
Yeah, I know that you guys are like the watchdogs.
Well, we're like the customs department, the border control personnel, because we really and truly we have to protect our farmers. And basically, there's pests out there that that can totally wipe out our farmers' livelihood, and ultimately, then we continue to have to import all the foods that we eating, and then with the safety of the products, as Mr. Paul would have mentioned earlier, we can't really afford to what persons are using out there and their chemistry of their products, but we can guarantee you on the chemistry and of what we are using here in St. Kitts Nevis.
All right, so that's definitely good to know. Mr. Paul, anything to add?
I just wanna once again compliment the Department of Agriculture in St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to say they are amongst the most organized in terms of the product registration process, their training for their farmers, the technical training for their staff. They always place emphasis on that. Even during COVID, Mr. Chapman and the good folks over at the Department of Agriculture had me doing training with the technical staff, because they want to ensure that the technical staff are properly equipped to advise the farmers, or to act as crop advisors, competent crop advisors to the farmers. And in truth, they are amongst one of the best in the region. So I just want to encourage them. I wanna let them know they're doing a very good job. I hope that we could work together to, continue, I should say. I hope that we could continue to work together to ensure that the farmers of St. Kitts and Nevis are properly served. That's all. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Kennedy, Paul, Ian Chapman, pleasure speaking with you this morning.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Always a pleasure to have you as well. More Good Morning SKN in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
no cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Good morning, SKN and Studio 327. This is Tao Batiste, one of your biggest fans. Just you're doing a lot of things well. Keep on that trajectory. Greatness, greatness, greatness.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Expressions, a segment dedicated to showcasing talent and creativity in many forms. Today we'll be focusing on the winning stamps from the ECCB stamp design competition. So we're going to have a look at these stamps. I can't wait to look at them.
It's actually what we covered in the latest this morning, so we know where the winners come from.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to be featuring one second place winner stamp, which is the one representing St. Kitts and Nevis.
Indeed, a dear.
We'll get there shortly.
Oh, and this is the winner from St. Vincent in the 5 to 11-year-old category. I like that. I like his turtle. His turtle has all the islands that are in the OECS. He has the ECC Bank insignia. His turtle is collecting solar power. So that's cute.
I love the way it's integrated. The flags are integrated. That's great. We see, you know, the representative countries. We also, I love that part. We've got sunshine, so why not go green? Why not harness the energy that is natural to our shores? I love what he's doing, and that turtle is doing it as well, which is a green representative of a green animal in any event. So go green, you get it. It's like it hits you in more ways than one. I like that.
Cute. Congratulations, Vidant Shetty. I like that stamp. I can't wait to put it. I don't even mail anything. Just for that, I'm just gonna mail something somewhere, even if it's in the Federation.
Yeah, well, we are heading across the shores to St. Lucia, looking at Mia Emanuel's stamp. It's hard to believe that she is in the category of 12 to 17 years of age, because this is so much more graphically appealing, obviously, because it's the level of difficulty, I guess, is greater. She executed it very, very well. We see what looks to me like a tree. We've got the countries being the branches. We've got everything emerging, of course, from what I would like to classify as a, what is it, a dicotyledon. And you scientists help me out here, but effectively everything emerged from the ECCB, that little dime that we see there. And it's all
She even paid homage to the former governor.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely correct.
He's in there. Just needed to make the hair a little bigger. I love this big hair. You're such a humble guy.
I love this.
Yeah.
We see again the sun, the sea, and the ECCB in, I would guess.
Even the little, the grill pads at the top, you see the little lines? It is giving me solar panel vibes, just above the leaves.
Okay.
Yeah, you see it?
I do.
Yeah, because there's the sun, and then there's like the panel collecting it. So there's still keeping it all green.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as they go along.
Does anybody else get the feel that this is all to signify that there is money in the hands being generated by the ECCB as well? Because that's effectively what I get when I look at this as well.
Yeah. And I can even see the ocean where the hand is like all green. All green. This is lovely. Congratulations once again. Wow. There's a lot of talent around the Caribbean. The adult stamp, though, I was trying to remember the criteria, because I wonder where did she find that picture to incorporate it into the stamp.
Here we are with the 18 and over category, Max and Rock of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
So this is probably a old board meeting of some sort. I was wondering, it looks like the auditorium, but I don't want, signing of the ECCB agreement. Okay. I wonder if it was done in the auditorium. I'll find out.
So it's the signing of the ECCB agreement in July. If I'm reading this correctly, 1983. Okay.
Don't normally see stamps that long. Yeah.
Right.
The rectangular shape is lovely. And she incorporated the insignia. I like the hairstyles. The lady looked like she has a little.
You got a thing for hairstyles, don't you?
I'm just looking at the vintageness of it, and it's just it's nice. So congratulations once again to Maxine Rock, the winner of the 18 and older category for the ECCB 40th anniversary stamp design competition.
All very different, but still representative of their categories and of the ECCB as well.
Indeed. And what about our own very own Adia? She would have graced us in the studio a few times. Look at that. Stealthy. This is adorable.
One happy family. I'm just reading here. All right, so it's one happy family. We see the money in the pouch. We see
the D-casher and his bling chain. This dollar
creative,
sign. Yeah, it is cute.
It's quite creative, and I love the vibrancy of the colors.
Yes.
It's great.
Listen, if nobody believes she did this, she does that. I watch her basically draw on her father's entire wall. He had something up on Facebook, and she just goes from drawing one thing to the other, to the other, to the other. So she has great talent. And I like how she incorporated the sun too. There's a little peacock. There's her little plane. It's rainbow style. There's her fish. So cute. Even her crab is making you feel welcome.
We've got music as well. There's so many other things going on here.
Yeah. That wallet or pocket is happening. He's got money in it.
Okay, that makes sense.
But this is nice. The creativity that the young people have these days. Oh.
Yeah, we're going to look for more from her. Look for more from her, obviously, because this is good.
Very good. Aww.
So this was in the 5 to 11 category. This is Adia's part. We're going to move on shortly to the 12 to 17 category. And the winner here, well, the second runner-up rather, is it's a second runner-up or second place? Second runner-up. Okay, is David Blackett of Grenada, 12 to 17. Oh, I apologize. And Melvin Hughes of Anguilla, 18 and over category. And I did say before, must be the age getting to me, that we were going to show you one second runner-up submission, which we did. So that's the only one that we've got to show you because she's representing St. Kitts and Nevis, right? So congratulations to all of the participants. And and congratulations to the ECCB for celebrating 40.
40 years, yes. A lot of 40s going around this year, 40th year of independence. We would have lost our 40th reign. And yeah, the ECCB is doing 40 as well.
ECCB is doing 40.
ECCB is doing 40.
All right. More GMSK and everyone in a minute. Stay tuned.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Welcome back to GMSK. It's time for us to loosen up. And today's topic, the topic that you've been waiting for. Guess what? We're going to be talking about making decisions. For those of us who might be indecisive, it's going to be a little grueling. We can see that, right? In any event, more specifically, being at peace with the decisions that you have made. Well, that's even better. Being at peace with the decisions that you've made. No regrets, right?
No.
So, is this something that you find challenging? Being at peace with decisions that you made? I'll ask you.
Sometimes it's tough because I make some decisions and then the outcome I didn't like, and then I'm like, see, I shouldn't do that. I should not have done that way, and then the outcome would have been better. One example, for my wedding, my friend came all the way from St. Martin, herself and her husband, and she missed the bus. They missed the entire wedding, and I didn't even realize they went at the wedding because I just wanted the day to be done, because I would have had enough leading up to it, and I just wanted it to be done. So eventually she messaged me. I get my phone, and she's like, we didn't get the bus. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you could have called me. So every year, my anniversary, I'm like, oh my God. Had that plan been better, my friend would have made the wedding. And she's like, girl, you need to stop. At least I came to St. Kitts. I saw you the next day. I got my cake. I got everything. You need to stop. All I didn't do, I didn't make it to the venue. But it bothers me, because had things been in place better, she would not have missed the bus, because she was out there, but things weren't sorted properly. Yeah.
Is anybody else hearing that I Missed the Bus song by Kid and Play? That's something I would never, ever do again.
Ever do again.
Anyway, yeah, can't change it. So, yeah, get over it. That's it. Be at peace with it. She's happy with it, right? So just get over it.
It's like, you can't do it. Just get over it.
That's the philosophy. You can't change it. Get over it. If you could change it, if you could do it better, okay, I get it. But what is the point if you're not going to have a similar decision to make later on? Are you getting married again?
No.
You're going to organize a bus again? Okay, there we go. Awesome. Get over it. All right, so that was the answer to that question. Do you find it difficult to make decisions? Well, this is the other one. Do you find it difficult to make decisions? Are you kidding? We all make decisions. We make decisions about what time we get out of bed.
But do you find it difficult too?
Depends on the decision. This is not like a, one-size-fits-all thing here. It depends on the decision. It depends on the consequences of that decision, or the ramifications, rather, of it. So it depends, really. Some decisions are easy.
Well, most of my decisions are hard, because even if I go to a restaurant, I take forever to decide what is it I want to eat. Like the other night when I went to Bananas and I had it on fleek of what I had to eat. The selection wasn't long, it wasn't complicated, and it didn't have me thinking, okay, I never tried this before. So I'm like, yeah, I want this. Even my husband was surprised. You know what you want to eat? Yes, I know what I want to eat.
I love the complexity of your decisions. Guys, if that's the most difficult decision that you had to make, this is amazing, Cortensi. Count your blessings.
It's rough being me. Yeah.
Honestly, anybody else will record with this here. It depends on the decision. There are some people who have to make life-changing decisions.
Yeah,
and
those ones are hard.
It's weird. I mean, people have had to decide what to do with, caring for the elderly, for instance. Yep. People have had to decide what to do if someone needs to be on life support or not.
Yeah, what is
those sorts of decisions are difficult. People have had to decide whether to move from one location to the other and question how that would affect not only their careers or their family members, the children's schooling, relationships. All of those decisions are very difficult. People have had to decide, period. Are you going to change careers? Are you going to give up what is comfortable and move on to something that might have uncertainty? Be part of it, and a regular part of it at that, not just, pretty cool. No, it never really goes away. So I guess in those moments, the first question is applicable, because it's, do you regret making a decision? Do you wish you could do it differently? And sometimes you don't have the luxury of that, because it's not a trivial decision that's made. It's not something that you can hit rewind on and be like, okay, no eraser here, wrong stroke, let's go again. So it depends, really. To those of you who've had to make difficult decisions, I feel you, because really there is no rule book, Hortensia, as to what you do in this particular state or at this particular time.
Because when I decided that I was gonna leave Liat, although COVID had other plans for me, I had made up my mind. I was like, okay, Hortensia, get over this life. So I literally did what you said earlier. So I had made up my mind that in November of 2021, I was gonna give in my resignation, and that would have been it. I would have been done. But I was, how should I say, programming my mind to forget my former life. So that's when people say, you want to go back? No, I'm okay, I'm done. Never going back.
Never going back.
Never going back. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, so decisions. We make them every day. Some are more difficult than others. Some of the reasons people fail to make difficult decisions as well people fail to follow their gut is because they are afraid of failure. They don't want to fail.
But sometimes you think you want to follow your gut, right? But then you don't follow your gut. And then now you're in a pothole. And then you say, I should have gone with my first gut instinct.
We think that at times. Sometimes the gut is wrong. Sometimes the gut is misleading.
Exactly. So how do we?
I don't know. You don't know. You just have to go with it. You know, there have been times, I don't know if you've seen it, like people have gut instincts. I want to do this. I want to do that. Yeah. And then other people are like sounding the warning symbol. It's like the bell is ringing, going off. Maybe not. He's not the right guy for you. She's not the right girl for you. Don't get married. Don't move away. Listen, he did it once. He'll do it again. I'm talking about relationships again. You see how that's going on here? Yeah. Or perhaps, you know, you're dealing with the boss and it's like, I don't know, for whatever reason, there's a little bit of discomfort. You're not really sure. It's weird. It's just, There's so many different things that you decide to do every day. And sometimes what we do, and we're good at this, is that we're good at ignoring the inner voices that we call the gut, so to speak, which we should in some instances, and others, we follow it to our detriment. So there's no hard and fast rule about how you do it. You just have to know what's right for you in the situation and trust yourself. And that way, if you happen to make a mistake, you own it because you did what you wanted to do, right?
But what if you don't take the chance? How would you know? Because you rightfully say, I'm moving from Los Angeles to New York for a relationship. It seemed to have worked out for all of those years on FaceTime, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera.
FaceTime relationships. Wow, aren't those great?
Jamie, work with me here. I'm just saying, right? And now I get there, as they say, see me and come live with me is two different things. It's just problems. And you, Jamie, my friend, was like, we're 10 to FaceTime, we're living together in the same thing. But I say, how will I know if I don't take the chance? So some decisions, I look at all decisions as chances because let's go back to the food. What if I choose the food and then it doesn't taste right? That's a chance I took, right? So it's all, decisions are just hard. That's why they're so difficult for me sometimes to make. And it's a claim in my sign that Geminis are indecisive, very indecisive, very indecisive. So I don't know. Decisions are hard chances that you make or you don't make. And sometimes, as I said, it plays on my mind. So I don't want to say I have regrets, but it plays on my mind that I didn't take the chance because maybe it would have turned out that way. I didn't allow the universe to manifest what it could have been.
To those of you who believe in parallel universes, take comfort in the fact that for every decision you're living life, every decision not made, there's a version of you living life having made that decision. Parallel universes, infinite number. If you've seen the movies, you know what I'm talking about. If you hear the theories, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can be a piece of that. I'm a piece in this world, knowing that I've taken all of the decisions that I was meant to take and that I own them. That's really what it is here.
But have you taken the chance to make every decision that you could have made up to now? I have to say up to now.
I had to make a decision. Listen, every step is a fork in the road. You either make it or you're not making it. Not making it is a decision in itself. Choosing not to go means that I'm choosing to stay.
But it is. But then it's a...
So we make decisions. That's the whole point of it. It's like you are at that fork in the road. Appreciate the fact that if you take a step in one direction, then that leads to other forks in the road that you would never have encountered if you didn't take that step. Similarly, if you don't take that step, then you miss out on those opportunities, and then you have a new set of opportunities, new decisions, right? Yeah. It's just what it is. It's the nature of life, and that's what I consider to be a blessing, to be honest with you, because it's like, you never know in the Forrest Gump voice what you're going to get. That makes it exciting. There are so many possibilities.
I wish decisions had foresight.
No, ask the psychic who wanted to talk to me on the road, asking me if she could give me her card, but not knowing that I would tell her no.
This is why I want decisions to have foresight. So if we're at the fork in the road and there is, let's say, I'm going to go with $1 million on the left side, and there is a bunch of wolves on the right, we should have been able to see where we're going. So our decision would have been concrete.
Do you know?
And an informed one.
Do you know? That is where experience comes in. And that is where the ability to focus on what you can control comes in as well, because it's so important to let go of the things that are affected by other people's decisions. As I said before, it's a balancing act. Your life is a balancing act. You're not going through it, obviously unaffected by other people's decisions.
That's true.
You try to be as unaffected as you can be, but sometimes the things that people do force you to do something else. But whatever you do, make sure that you're at peace.
At peace. Usa. So I'm gonna let it go that my friend missed the bus.
Yeah, and this thing about regret, regret eats people alive, right?
It does, y'all. Don't live in regret. Don't live in regret.
How could you live in regret? I think it's one of the saddest things to have people live with regret. And I guess we've seen the stories, because if you think about the way the criminal justice system works, I think that the people who are on the other side of society, and when I say that, I mean behind the prison walls, I think to some extent we hope that they would experience regret and use that regret to inform their decisions going forward as to how they would lead a different life if they're given the chance to. And that's a different kind of regret. But the other type of regret that I'm talking about is the regret of that paralyzes you. It leads to paralysis. It's like you're there and you're just living in regret. You're not doing anything. You're just thinking about the past, thinking about the past.
Over and over. And
time is going, but you're stuck looking back, without realizing you're actually going forward.
The mind works in a funny way, folks, and you can tell me and say the same thing. To me, it just doesn't let go of certain things. It just hold on to a lot of things that are not meaningful or positive, etc., etc. And like the positive things, you have to dig deep to find them.
That's sad. We don't want to be sad here. We're telling you don't live with regret, right? You've got your eyes, you've got your life. Even if you don't have sight, you have the ability to interact with people and make a difference, and use your regret, if you have any, to inform other people's decisions. One person said to me a long time ago, and it wasn't just me, it was a congregation, effectively that wise people, a fool learns from his own mistake, but wise people learn from other people's mistakes. And so if you're able to
But not everybody take those mistakes and use them, though.
They don't have to, but they're there. The fact is, there's a plethora of mistakes that we can look at, and we can be like, okay, not that, those sorts of things, right? So not only mistakes, but successes as well. So again, learn as you can from other people's mistakes if you can, from other people's stories of successes if you can, and try not to get the bruises along the way. Avoid the pitfalls that they fell into. All right? And that's where we're going to leave you with this segment for today.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need, because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Good morning. This is Karen of Paris and support from Paris Lamont. I will want to encourage y'all to sign on to Good Morning SKN every morning from 8 to 10 at Studio 327. Thanks.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Today is globally acknowledged as World Wetlands Day, a day to raise public awareness of wetland values and benefits and promote the conservation and wise use of wetlands. Here with us is Linnell Morton, Environmental Officer at the Department of Environment, St. Kitts. Linnell, welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Our pleasure having you today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. So Linnell, tell us, where are the wetlands located in St. Kitts and Nevis?
So for St. Kitts, most of our wetlands are on the peninsula, and then we have some in Connery. For Nevis, I would say it's on the coastal area, so it's not just limited to the peninsula, because we know Nevis is round.
Yes.
So we have in Camps, Nisbets, not Nisbets, it is Nelson Springs, and then we have Bats, Bugs. So those are the three that I am aware of in Nevis, but I'm more familiar with the ones in St. Kitts, yes.
All right, so there is actually a formalized definition or formal definition of wetlands. Can you define it for our viewers?
Yes, so wetlands, this is a very unique ecosystem. So it is any land that is submerged or permeated by water. This can be permanently or temporarily.
So that means then that over time, what you effectively have is wetlands emerging where there were none, and then wetlands not being where they were. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so we're fortunate in that way.
Okay. So what are some of the attempts, if there are any, local attempts, I should say, to restore our wetlands here in St. Kitts?
Okay, so I must say though that many of our wetlands, they are private, and then we have about 4 that falls within public. So on the government side, we can protect the public ponds, such as the Frigate Bay Pond, the Great Heat Pond, which is the largest pond here in St. Kitts, that is by St. Kitts Masonry.
Okay.
So that pond, so we can protect these ponds. Traditionally, or in the past, many of the wetlands, they weren't valued. So when persons bought the land, the wetland was seen as a wasteland, so they were just given away.
Okay.
So as the Department of Environment or the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, we can protect, also educate persons, where we want persons to no longer see wetlands as a wasteland, but we want them to see the benefits of not wastelands, the benefits of wetlands.
Okay.
And let me just share some of the benefits. The first one that I can think about is it is a habitat for many species. Many of the birds, they travel from north every year during the winter time, and they go south, and they will utilize our wetlands here in St. Kitts and the entire Caribbean. So that is the first benefit. It is a habitat not just to birds, but fish, crabs, and other invertebrates. That is number 1. There is a recreational benefit where we can go and just relax. We can take in nature. And this is the next benefit that will benefit all of us. So it's not just limited if you just want to use the wetland for recreational purposes, but it prevents us from flooding. Normally, the wetland is a bridge between the terrestrial environment and the marine environment. It is that bridge between. So when we have heavy rainfall, the rainfall will run to the sea, and that wetland will capture all of that rainfall. In the past, many persons would have filled in the wetlands, and then we have flooding and all of those cases. So wetlands are important.
Certainly.
And definitely that last point gets me, because I don't think that we've had major flooding here that we see in some other places, and you're absolutely right as to that bridge. What I want to talk to you now about is the advice and the proper care and restoration of wetlands. But even before that, as we talk about that, private versus public wetlands, are you saying that there is nothing that you can do to govern how people use their lands because it's privately owned?
Well, we can do something. We can speak with them. We can educate them of the importance and encourage these developers who own these areas, as on the peninsula. Many of the ponds over there are private. So we can just have a dialogue with them and encourage them to at least preserve the wetland. Try to incorporate ecotours. We are going along that line. It's not about just destroying the wetland anymore. We need to have a balance. Many persons, they will support these developments because they are being eco-friendly. So that is the conversation that we need to have with these developers.
All right, great conversation. And what about the advice for proper care and restoration, as it were?
Okay, so many times our people, when they see a wetland, they might want to trim or cut down the wetland totally, which would have happened here in the past. And we now have to educate people like, no, you cannot do that. So when it comes to dealing with the mangroves, because wetlands, our wetlands, the mangroves are there. So we will encourage, okay, you can just like trim, just prune.
Yes.
But not remove the wetland because you don't want to see the mangroves because someone had an issue of safety. If the mangroves are too thick, then it poses a safety issue. Yes, so then developers might want to cut down the mangrove, but no, we have to encourage, like, no, let us just make it a little pretty. Let us just trim it. So that is what I would say for proper care, caring of the wetlands, and not releasing your drain water, your wastewater in the wetlands, but at least try to treat it before you enter, so you're not depositing heavy metals and those things. So that will be my advice for proper care.
Linnell, are there any fines or penalties for persons who don't adhere to the advice or directives of your department?
I cannot speak on that, but the act should cover pollution, and if the person is polluting an area, well, that is public, well, that wetland, then I would think we can take measures.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right, let's talk now about the threats to the wetlands. And I want to pose the question to you that speaks to perhaps whether or not those threats are more man-made than they are natural.
Yes, they are mostly man-made. So the first threat is development. Where many countries, we want to develop, we want that income. So we have many hotels destroying the wetlands. We have some housing schemes being built on wetlands because it's land. When you see that vast land of water, a housing scheme can go there. So you see it as an opportunity. So that is the #1 threat.
Wow. How do you reduce the threats? What are the efforts apart from conversation? Because I know that you were doing that, sensitization. Is there anything else?
So what we want to do is protect. I'm not sure if the frigate weapon is like we are working to fully protect it.
Okay.
I'm not sure of how far it has gone, but that is one case where we are trying to protect the frigate weapon.
Is this the pond in the golf
by
course?
The strip.
Oh, that one?
Yes.
Oh,
so
sometimes I really forget that pond exists because sometimes it's dry. Okay.
All right, so you spoke to the advantages of wetlands and biodiversity. It's interesting because when you were here the last time, I think we were talking about bird watching, and one of the things that you mentioned
bird watching.
is the fact you see how everything is connected, especially as it relates to the environment. You were talking about that. You made very strong points about the way that we could change the way we think about wetlands to even incorporate tourism. And when we are talking about the pandemic and some people having to find new ways of doing things, those are very good ideas. Have you received any sort of positive feedback from the people that you've dialogued with and had those types of discussions with?
I know that the Ministry of Tourism, that St. Kitts we won an award of the most sustainable destination. And I think that our country wants to go down that path. So we see Ministry of Tourism, they're trying to incorporate bird watching and those things into their tours. So I think we have the support of tourism. They will be doing the most of the conversations with the different tourists.
And still everything is connected.
Yes.
I see, as part of our discussion, I see an additional point that says the wetlands provide nursery areas for fish that humans eat. So is it that the Department of Environment has to protect that area, or are we going to be sensitized to protect this area to ensure that it's safe to
The
consume the fish?
department will be actually promoting the protected areas as that falls within our mandate.
Okay.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to say to the general public as it concerns the protection and preservation of wetlands? If there is, that's your camera, and you can feel free to do so.
Yes. So I would like persons to actually know of the benefits. And if you see persons doing things that you see fit as illegal, take pictures. You can share them with the Department of Environment so that we are aware of those cases. What we do at the department, we try to do our part where we monitor, we do our checks. Soon we are going to resume water quality testing. So we are doing our part, and we need the community, we need every single citizen to work along with us so that we can protect our wetlands. We didn't talk about the theme for World's Wetland, which is wetland restoration. So we are working, the Department of Environment, we would have gone to Canada for COP15, and we now have to implement the GBF, the Global Biodiversity Framework. And under Target 2, it is to restore ecosystems. So when we implement that framework nationally, we have to move towards that direction, which is to either restore, whether by replanting mangroves. There has been some efforts in Nevis, so good job to the Nevians who have been doing that. So it's an all approach. Everyone needs to be involved. So that is my encouragement to the public. Let us do our part. This is ours.
Yes, it is ours indeed.
Yes.
Well, Lynell, we want to thank you for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to see you. And every time you do, we get so much information. So I know that you're going to come back, of course, and talk with us about the other things that you have to implement as you do so.
Yes.
Pleasure to see you, as always.
Thank you.
Very welcome. We've been speaking with Lynell Morton, Environmental Officer at the Department of Environment here on St. Kitts. More Good Morning SKN in a moment.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
no cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
Yo, this is your boy Smiley of the Grandmasters Band, and you're watching GMSKN. Hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're watching GMSKN. What up?
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It is Black History Month, the month where we celebrate the influence of Black persons around the world. So in this segment of Quote of the Day, we will be discussing a quote from Coretta Scott King. She was an author, activist, and civil rights leader, and also the wife of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Coretta once said, quote, "Hate is too great a burden to bear. It injures the hater more than it injures the hated." Hate is too great a burden to bear. It injures the hater more than it injures the hated.
That's true. Because the hated don't know that they're being hated on until they're told.
Until they're told?
Yeah. Because how would you know if I hate you unless I project certain things towards you or say certain things about you, or somebody come and say, you know, Cotton's pretending to be your friend but she hates you? So yes. I didn't know for that long time or you didn't know for that long time that I hated you, but you only find out. But all this time I have all this resentment, and I'm like, I hate him in me.
All right. So if we segment the quote, because there's a lot that we can get from it. Mm-hmm. First of all, hate is a burden.
A big one.
And not only is it a burden, so it's a weight that you're carrying. Hatred is a burden. It's a weight that you're carrying. And when you think of what you're carrying, okay, mm-hmm. if life were a basket of mm-hmm. things, and you've got hatred in it versus, what's the opposite of hatred? Love, right? Mm-hmm. Love is light. Love is positive. Hatred is negative, and it weighs you down. It weighs the carrier down. And I guess it links to the second part of it, which reads, it injures the hater more than it injures the hated. Although, to some degree, this is where the debate can come in, because we've seen a lot of people do a lot of things out of hatred, and the idea that the hated can be injured more, the hater can be injured more than the hated is a little difficult to bear, because we've seen gruesome acts of violence, we've seen crimes committed against people just because they are hated. And so it's a little difficult to visualize how, in that respect, the hater is injured more than the hated, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you, but you're carrying this weight. You're plotting this crime. You're committing this crime. You're going to jail for the rest of your life.
If they find you. If you think about what you potentially could be incarcerated for, it is an effect that your actions have had on the lives of so many people who were unsuspecting victims. And their lives and their families' lives have changed. And so in that way, it's kind of hard for me to, I get where she's coming from, but it's still kind of hard to even make this palatable for me to say that it injures the hater more than the hatred, because to me depends on the acts, and there are some people who are cavalier and some people who never show any sort of remorse or regret. And so that part of the quote is debatable for me if we are talking about things other than the spiritual sense of it.
Okay. Now that you have said that, how do you think the hated is being affected by the hater?
We've seen it. We've seen it through, and we talk about it when we talk about the Holocaust. We've seen it, lives affected. We've talked about slavery. We've seen it. We've talked about acts of violence. We talk about the war in Ukraine, where egregious acts of violence are being perpetrated. To say in that respect, we've talked about Black Lives Matter. Let's talk about everything in that context. To say in this respect that it injures the hater more than the hatred, I would say it depends on the context in which you're examining it. Because there are some people who will never recover from the things that they've experienced, the things that they've seen, what they've gone through at the hands of someone who hated them.
The recent development in the US, Tyree Nichols. I saw a podcast yesterday with somebody reporting, I don't know if it's true, so I'm just quoting, that apparently one of the officers, Tyree Nichols, was dating his ex-person. So he was out to get him. But do you see what his hatred caused to the hated, which was Tyree Nichols? His life.
And that's exactly my point. So to even fathom that the hater would be injured more, and I get it, you're talking spiritually, I understand that. But when you take away that veil and you move beyond the spiritual and you move beyond the core of what a person is and what informs their humanity and the essence of humanity and what you hope would be a life of love and sharing and curing and living together as one, you take that away. Let's be realistic. There are impacts that we experience because of hatred. There are impacts that other people have experienced because someone has hated them and has decided to act on it. And honestly, it's just devastating. So to say, again, that it injures the hater more than it injures the hated is, I understand it spiritually, but in other contexts,
it's debatable.
I don't agree I don't agree at all.
Yeah, because we looked at it from all angles, but because people normally say too, like I will go say, Jamie's the worst. And then A comes in and gets to know Jamie and be like, but Jamie not the worst. What are they saying? But it's like they're trying to keep people from getting to know the true you. So they're already putting you in the hated path when...
Hey, come, do it. I really don't care. I keep saying it.
Yeah, but it's just to show. The example is basically just to show that sometimes you don't know that you're hated. But the hater is plotting and devising all these evil Knievel plans to get you. Because look, he probably, if that's the case, he probably told his team, this guy's doing me this, I feel this way, and they all band together and now they're all in trouble because they're all in jail. They're probably are gonna stay there forever. And they're gonna get beat now because now the police, once again, is amongst the criminals. Or they might get put in isolation. That doesn't make any sense as well. Your freedom mattered most when you could have reversed the hatred with love.
It depends because we're talking about hate and hatred. I really want us to contextualize this discussion if we can. There are degrees of hatred, and let's talk about them for a second because we see the extreme degrees of hatred. They make the news. We talk about them all the time. What you said triggered in me minor degrees of hatred. And I don't mean that I hated what you said.
I got you.
It caused me to remember circumstances where there might be minor degrees of hatred. And as you rightly said, when you were talking about, friends telling each other, well, I don't like him or I don't like her for whatever reason. One of the things that causes hatred to continue is the sense of ignorance and this insularity that causes that ignorance to thrive and breed hatred. Because the reality is I've witnessed so many people, and I've seen it, just because you get a bit of information from someone that you consider to be an authority, you don't even try to find out what the truth is, and you don't even say, let me ask a question or two and figure out if I could be neutral about it. You've already rushed to judgment. And I'm talking about people who some would consider to be highly intelligent, yet very biased in their operations. And it's true. This is what I consider a minor degree of hatred. A lot of you perhaps experienced the negative effects of politics. When I say politics, I mean office politics, but also, let's throw it out there because we've heard it in the news before. We've heard people, saying that they've experienced political oppression one way or the other at different degrees, whether it's here or whether it's overseas. Whether that's true or not, that remains to be seen. But reality is, when we talk about that, having that discussion in terms of the degrees of hatred, minor. I just don't like her. You're talking, I don't like him. These pockets that effectively turn into a blaze that engulfs everything just because of ignorance is one of those things that really I don't understand how intelligent people in 2023 can even condone and can even accept. I just don't get it. And maybe that's my ignorance, but I really don't get it.
You're correct. Wow. So on both spectrums, we can see the injury.
Yeah, and that's the point of it. And that makes your quote relevant, really. You can see the injury. It depends on really what lens you're looking at it through.
I wish there was a way that we could eradicate hate out of the world, but you gotta wait until Jesus shows up, man.
You want to eradicate hate, people have to be more tolerant, people have to be more understanding, and people have to appreciate differences of opinions, and people just have to understand that just because we think a certain way doesn't mean that everybody who thinks different is wrong, because that's really what it is. It's about this position of power. It's about the lack of understanding and appreciation of diversity, whatever it may be, whether it's race, sexual orientation, whatever it is. How can we condone hatred in 2023 when we turn our television on, we see egregious acts of violence and crime being committed by the military, whether you're looking at Africa, whether you're looking at Ukraine, when you see Russia, when you look at those things, how can we condone hatred on any level? It's because we continue to be ignorant. We don't want to know how someone arrived at their opinion. We don't want to understand their perspective. We just know that it's different from ours, and we say you're different, so you are wrong. And that is the thing that gets me when we talk about hatred and the way that we perpetuate it through our ignorance, because we think if we surround ourselves with people who think exactly like we do and reinforce our thoughts, then we are correct. We are stronger than, hear me out, them. And to some degree, them have to be eradicated. They have to be eradicated.
Yeah.
It's the way that we think. It's basic. It's barbaric. I thought we evolved, but I keep getting surprised.
But Jamie, you said sometimes they think they are stronger than those that need to be eradicated. But what if it's the other way around? The hated has this strength that they perceive as a threat, so they eradicate them as well, as you said with the Holocaust.
You see, it's the whole thing, because the fact that we have to revert to those methods, the basic methods, when we all understand the importance of dialogue, but to some degree dialogue is rendered pointless when people want to do what they want to do anyway. We've seen it. It makes sense, but again, everything is so connected and interconnected that if I see something, I don't want to say or do something because I'm dependent on you, and we see it in world politics all the time. I'm dependent on you for other resources that will affect the people within my borders. So I'm going to say, but I'm only going to go this far. I'm only going to do that much because I don't want to feel the brunt of you doing something that will affect me. We saw it with the hike in gas prices. We saw it with all those other things. We know what it is. So it's a balancing act. And sometimes in an ideal world, you say hatred, it's wrong. Here we say hatred, it's wrong. I will say it's wrong as long as I'm not adversely affected, or to the extent that I'm not adversely affected by what you will do if I come for you. Wow. That's a lot.
A lot.
Either way, Curtis Scott King said, hate is too great a burden to bear. It injures the hater more than it injures the hated. If you have opinions to share on that quote, we'll be grateful to hear your thoughts.
Link us in the comments. And more SKN, more Good Morning SKN in a minute.
exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Yo, this is your boy Smiley of the Grandmasters Band, and you're watching GMSKN. Hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're watching GMSKN. What up?
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It is time for us to let you know, no, not to say goodbye, but what's happening. The St. Kitts Department of Youth T-shirt Design Challenge create a design inspired, my word, by the Summer Camp 40 theme, and you can be the winner of attractive prizes. The rules and guidelines are as follows. Designs must be hand-drawn on a 8.5 times 11 inches, or is it inches? Am I saying it corrected? So 8.5 times 11 paper. 2, it must incorporate the Department of Youth logo, as Sulika would have mentioned yesterday. And 3, you must use no more than 5 colors. 4, participants must be between the ages of 8 to 16. Additional guidelines and rules available at the Department of Youth Empowerment at the 3rd floor of the Cable Building on Keon Street. Prizes include a drawing tablet, free camp submission, and other prizes. The deadline date, once again, is April 24th, 2023.
All right, and to all of you football lovers out there, football fans, football is back. It is BACK back. So go out to Warner Park Stadium on Sunday, February 5th. That's right around the corner at 3:30 p.m. to be a part of the season opener, to witness the matchup between league champions SL Hosford, St. Paul's FC, and St. Peter's Football Club. That's right. Who will battle for the prestigious President's Cup? It's prestigious. Hey, it has president in the title. Admission fee is only $20 for adults, $10 for players, and children 12 and under enter free. Great time to be a child, right? So go and enjoy.
Even the players have to pay? Oh, that's the way to go. And anyways, I realize your enthusiasm, and I have to speak on it, for St. Peter's was grand. Is
Really?
this? Yes.
I'm not biased in any way.
Okay, I was just
glad to read about football being back. B-A-C-K, right? Back.
Okay, the Nevis Youth Awards. The Youth Impact 12 Awards continue. Nominations for the Nevis Department of Youth Impact Awards 12. The areas of nomination out right now are March, Sports Excellence, and April, Youth Development. The deadlines for nomination submissions are February 24th and March 24th, respectively. Visit the Nevis Department of Youth's office to collect a form to nominate an outstanding youth you know. Persons can also call 469-5521 or email dept.youth@niagov.com for more information.
All right, it's time now to talk about scholarships. So, UVI 2023 scholarship. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis invites graduates of the Clarence Victoria Bryant College and the Nevis Sixth Form College to apply for the University of the Virgin Islands scholarships. Scholarships are only available to graduates interested in undertaking studies at UVI for a maximum of 4 years. The following documents must be delivered to the Ministry of Human Resources by Thursday, March 30th, 2023. So you still have some time to get these in. Here they are. 1 original and 2 copies of your completed application form. 1 original and 2 certified copies of your birth certificate. 1 original and 2 certified copies of high school certificates of qualification. 1 original and 2 certified copies of college certificates of qualification, and 1 original and 2 certified copies of university acceptance letter. So that is what is required. We're talking scholarships. You have some time left. Apply.
Please do apply.
That's a sensible decision. Since we were talking about decisions today, apply. Never know what can happen, right? You might be the winner of it.
I was just wondering, how does one find out what scholarships are available in the island, other than if we get news like this?
I think you can reach out to the Ministry of Education, perhaps the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well. So that would help. And perhaps as well CFBC, the Clarence Bryant College, who would have or should have ideas about scholarships available for those desirous of continuing education. In any event, we have been talking for a little bit. That is what is happening.
Yes, for today.
Yeah, so more GMS scan. You were saying?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It doesn't matter who says it, right? We're going to break. We're going to be back. We'll see you on the other side.
Yo, this is your boy Smiley of the Grandmasters Band, and you're watching GMSKN. Hey, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're watching GMSKN. What up?
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
exotic experience.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of GMSKN today. Of course, you know when you hear me say that, it's just about time to say goodbye, don't you? In any event, we're inviting you to tune in daily where you'll find a little bit of everything for everyone, encouraging you to get your friends and family members to watch. Be a great thing, wouldn't it? Remember to follow us on our social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube at Studio 327 Inc., and on Instagram as well at Good Morning SKN. If you forget anything else that I say, Good Morning SKN on Instagram. It's the name of the show. You shouldn't forget that. So remember to like, subscribe, follow, and share, and also visit our website at studio327inc.com. That's studio327inc.com to learn more about GMSKN and Studio 327.
And join us tomorrow as we interview Davinia Tomlinson, author of Cash is Queen. My favorite part, leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. Once again, who you'd like to see on the show. If you have any guests that, call us, inform us, and we'll work with you. And this is where I say, see you tomorrow, Friday, at 8 a.m. Once again, when the Rooster Crew advise that you start your morning with us right here at Good Morning SKN. Have a great Thursday. Thank you for watching as usual, and see you in the morning.